you how do you kind of deal with the mental part of that? You guys really put yourself in a position.
As many teams have done in the past, aspiring reporters are welcome in the locker room to cover a game. Unfortunately, long-term Buffalo Sabres beat writer Mike Harrington would bar the kid access in an unfathomable display. It's from 2019, but Harrington, seen here, has had tumultuous moments throughout his career covering sports in the Buffalo area. However, to intimidate a prospective member of the media who's in the locker room for the first time is unacceptable. Even the fans would call him out, with one Sabres supporter writing on a sign, "Mike Harrington is mean and rude to young girls." This past weekend, Harrington took a swipe at a kid serving as PA announcer for the Sabres. He would delete this tweet and put up another one in succession, touting the team's kids takeover promotion a big success. Harrington, as we have learned throughout preparing for this piece, does not have the best reputation in sports media. Word travels fast. However, this is what did him in. After ripping a child for having PA duties, his fellow media members would weigh in. Tim Graham, formerly of the Buffalo News and current senior writer for The Athletic covering Buffalo sports, would tweet the following after Harrington's harsh words. Today would be a good day for the video to be posted of Harrington chasing a little girl away from a Sabres media scrum a few years ago. She was the Sabres' junior reporter for a day, guessing 7 to 10 years old. I know the video exists, I've seen it, and it's incredible. In his statement after the video's release, Harrington defended himself, starting with how he had no recollection, but then claimed profanity was being thrown around by a player, and he wanted to protect the young kid's ears. He then says, "Monitoring interview scrums is one of my duties as a local chapter chair for the Professional Hockey Writers Association," which is odd because in many media members' experiences, the scrum is policed and controlled by a team official, not someone like Mike Harrington. Graham would write, as a former Buffalo chapter chief of the Professional Hockey Writers Association, I could say it was never part of my duties to monitor interviews. That's classic self-appointed overlord blank. Chris Sykes, seen here, says he is the daughter's father who was intimidated by Harrington. Here's the context. The night before the Sabres had blown a 3 or 4 goal lead, I was bummed because I knew it was going to change the temperature of the room the next morning when we were there. After the video cuts, the staffer called Harrington out for it. He doubled down, said he needed to hold them responsible. He went on to ask a player why he had the worst plus-minus in the league and how that is the reason the team is losing and whether that was acceptable. Lucy, his daughter, was 8 years old at the time and was nervous and tentative. This definitely did not help, but everyone else was so great that it turned out being a great experience for her. It's just a shame he couldn't set a good example for her, or at least be a decent human being. For Harrington, there's plenty of blemishes. And for that, we turn to the NHL's Masterton Trophy, an annual award given to a player that best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Harrington nominated Ryan O'Reilly of the Buffalo Sabres for the award. At the time, O'Reilly was arrested and charged with driving while impaired by alcohol. He was also charged with leaving the scene. Greg Wyshynski, formerly of Yahoo Sports and currently with ESPN, quoted fellow media man Craig Needles' report that O'Reilly drove a green Chevrolet pickup truck into a Tim Hortons at 4 a.m. An employee confirmed the story. When one fan objected to the nomination, Harrington wrote in response, "Your opinion is worthless." And speaking of Wyshynski, Harrington tried getting Greg kicked out of the Pro Hockey Writers Association because Wyshynski was a dissenting voice. He also took a very controversial shot at Dan Le Batard, likening his last name to a slur for disabled people.